So we are back in the kitchen. I typically don't wear hats as often, but just for the sake of these, using this, it's so much easier when for my mic and stuff. Uh, but we are back in the kitchen, so this would be a pretty cool series. I feel like somebody who's actively dieting and actively in a cut, working with a diet coach, in a deficit, all these things. Um, what's a typical meal look like for lunch, right? So we had our another video I made. I did a breakfast. So yeah, now we are here for lunch. I'm going to talk about some of the macros. They were 85, 10, 55. Yeah, so I'm trying to remember what it was. So of course we had our hydration this morning in the Fiji. So I had 2 liters of water, from breakfast and before. A liter of water during cardio. Another liter of water for breakfast. I do my coach, so he thinks that in a dieting context you should have at least 100 ounces of water per day. But I'm at 120 because I use the Stanley Cup, so this is 40 ounces. 3 of these a day are 120 ounces, so 126 I believe is a gallon. So plus the 2 liters of water, so I'm at a gallon or a little bit over each day. So lunch, I'll crush this whole thing during lunch. Of course, we got the tapatio here. I have all different types of hot sauces, but you'll see it really simple, not too crazy, but a lot of volume. So I'll kind of do what I did last video and do up close. This bowl is super hot. I like my stuff like steaming hot. So this, right, doesn't look like anything too crazy. Lots of seasoning, of course, and then you can kind of see the rest. So what's in here is 4.3 ounces of 99.1 lean ground turkey, um, half a box of the Muscle Mac, the mac and cheese. Before, not to keep leaving the camera, but just so you guys can see, this is a super cool little. Let me show you guys here. So Muscle Mac here, macaroni and cheese, performance, nutrition, bracket style, blah blah. But the big thing is here, GMO free, tastes great. There's no synthetic dyes or colors, but 20 grams of protein in here. So higher on the calories. So half a box here is 96 grams. So I use the trusty old food scale. This thing is you guys kind of see the setup there. How's it going? But this is the receiver. This part right on top, right here. That's the receiver that you guys are listening to this through. But kind of see here, do a little screenshot there if you want. But basically just protein mac and cheese, nothing too crazy. So half a box of that. Had it for a couple days ago. Every time I make something, I usually make the whole serving, the whole box or the whole tray or the whole whatever, and then I use it throughout the week. So 4.3 ounces lean ground turkey, half a box of the Muscle Mac. I got 1 cup, so 1 cup of broccoli is 85 grams. 1 apple. Something I forgot to mention in the previous video or the breakfast video I did a while back, or a little bit ago, was to mention that it's ideal to have 1 to 2 servings of veggies and 1 serving of fruit with every meal. Whether that be an apple, I got a whole array here of apples and oranges. Bananas are gone, plums, whatever your fruit is. Like a serving of fruit, right? So in this case, an apple. 1 to 2 servings of vegetables. So in this case, I'm having broccoli. I had spinach this morning. Uh, so it's 195. So yeah, about half a box of the Muscle Mac, 4.3 ounce of lean ground turkey, hot sauce in this, which comes to 85 grams of protein, 10 grams of fat, 10.5 grams of fat, and 85 grams of carbs, not protein. 85 grams of carbs, which is intentional, and I'll say why in a minute. 85 carb, 10.5 grams of fat, and 55 grams of protein. So if you guys remember my logic earlier or my previous video when I did the breakfast one in the cut, basically it's going to be kind of like a what am I eating series. So someone who's actively in a cut, eating in a deficit, working with a diet coach, what do meals kind of look like? This is more of a typical like bodybuilding style meal. You got the carb source, the meat, the veggie, the fruit, and some hot sauce and some ice cold water from the Stanley Cup. But typically, because I'm having a high protein, moderately high carb, and low fat in terms of my macros through my calories right during my cut, typically each meal wants to kind of follow that. So my meal should have really high protein, moderately high carb, and low fat. This one, because this is the last meal I'm going to have before the gym, I am going to bias this meal. I want a little more glycogen, so I want more carbs. So I'm going to have a little more carbs in terms of the noodles, right? The mac and cheese noodles, protein, whatever. And then I'm going to have another serving of fruit to get some more soluble fiber, so a little more lower on the glycemic index. So the lower a food is on the glycemic index, which is a scale of 0 to 100, the slower it kind of digests. So basically, glycemic index is something that affects your blood sugar. So food that you eat that like digests instantly just kind of spikes your blood sugar. So people who are diabetic have to be very careful with that kind of stuff. Slower digesting foods that are lower on the glycemic index, like maybe 55 and below, are a little bit better for gradually raising your blood sugar, so gradually giving you more energy and kind of sustaining a little bit longer. So if it's high on the glycemic index, here's your levels, and then kind of spikes up and then right back down. If it's kind of lower, 55 and below, typically it'll kind of gradually go up, kind of have like a peak, hold it for a second, and then kind of gradually come down, more of like a hill, not like a mountain peak. So lower than glycemic index, digest a little bit slower, give me more energy, etc. But yeah, so that's going to be the meal, about 600-ish calories, 80 carb, 10 fat, 55 protein, and hydration. So in about an hour and a half, no, about yeah, we're about 2 hours out from training, getting my hair cut. But this is a pretty solid meal. And I'm eating in a deficit, right? So this is going to be a good meal, higher carb, higher protein, only 10 grams of fat for this whole thing, and it's going to taste good. I'm going to get a little bit of sweets from the apple, vegetables that I have steamed with salt and pepper, and obviously more salt or pepper on here, not any salt. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Try to get a serving or two of vegetables per each meal and a serving of fruit because this will help keep you fuller longer. So when I'm done with this, even though it's not this massive plate of cheeseburgers, fries, wings, pizza, all the stuff that people eat, cereal, milk, fat-free milk, or whole milk with a bunch of fat in it, smaller meal, but because I'm choosing the right ingredients, I'm picking the right items, and I'm hitting my macros, and I'm satiating myself more completely because I'm picking fibers, insoluble fibers that actually can get broken down in my body. I can use for fuel, lower in the glycemic index. All these sorts of things are going to help me feel fuller longer, feel energized. I'm getting my protein, and I'm having a higher carb meal right now because this is my meal directly before the gym. So hopefully that helps, guys. Cool little idea. Hit your macros, hit your protein goals. The meal directly before your workout should be a higher carb meal, and the meal afterwards should be a higher protein meal, while still keeping that even mix sort of throughout the day. But if you want to be more naturally energized throughout the gym, have foods that are lower than glycemic index, have some fruits and veggies, have a little bit of higher carbs a couple hours before the gym, and you guys will be golden. So I will catch you guys in the next one. I'll do a dinner one sometime in the next couple weeks, maybe.